Hello and welcome to my channel, Transform and Talk with Tanisha. On this particular episode, we will be talking about the spirit of comparison and how comparison is the thief of joy. On the screen, you can see this picture and the quote reads, "Don't compare yourself with others. No one can play your role better than you." Please take heed to that and believe that. Now, real quick, I'm going to get into some definitions of what comparison means. The act or process of comparing, such as the representing of one thing or person as similar to or like another. An examination of two or more items to establish similarities and dissimilarities. The modification of an adjective or adverb to denote different levels of quality, quantity, or relation. Ladies and gentlemen, please know that you are one of a kind. God made no mistakes when He made you. You are the apple of His eye. No one in this world is like you. No one compares to you, and you don't compare to anyone else. Please know that you were created and ordained to be exactly how God wanted you to be. So embrace that. Stop looking over at another person thinking that they're better than you, because they are not. No one can be you, and that is your power. Do not lose your power looking over at another individual thinking that they have it better than you, because we don't know what it takes to be another individual. So please embrace who you are, knowing that someone might be similar to you, but they are not you. And again, that is your power. Walk in it. Now let's get into this video. Be encouraged.
70, that's crazy.
It's actually not that impressive.
What?
It's not that impressive.
Yeah, it is.
No.
To me, it is. You know what they say?
What?
They say comparison is the thief of joy. You compare yourself to others and you'll never be happy. So that's impressive weight. Who cares what other people lift?
Yeah. But what if I'm not satisfied with it?
Well, I mean, you can push yourself, but you can't do negative self-talk.
All comparing myself to someone else's journey is going to do is take myself out of the present moment and away from my own journey. So from a spiritual perspective, I truly believe that we all come to earth for some reason that our soul needs growth and evolution. And the more that I compare myself to where someone else is at and how they're farther along than me and how they're doing this and I'm not, the more I deviate from what it is that I'm actually meant to do. Because I'm not supposed to have their journey for a specific reason, because I'm actually supposed to have my journey. And I know it's so easy in our day-to-day society to constantly be comparing ourselves and what we have to somebody else. But I promise if you come from like a higher spiritual perspective and you remind yourself that we are actually all supposed to have different journeys for a reason, and the more you focus on your own journey and less on comparing it to others, the quicker you'll get to where your journey's meant to take you.
Comparison is not only the thief of your joy, of your peace. It is also a thief of your inspiration, your creativity, your sanity. It is a thief of your competence, your gratitude, and your hard work.
This will save you. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're only on this planet to be you, not someone else's imitation of you.
You comparing yourself to others is so disrespectful to the way God designed you. God handcrafted you. He specifically designed you to carry out the exact life and duties that you do today. If you ever feel unworthy, you gotta ask yourself the question, why would God create me? You see, God don't make no mistakes, which means that your life was not a mistake. God had so much purpose when He created you. So we gotta stop comparing ourselves to other people. Yes, that person might have a better car than you. Yes, they might have more money than you. They might even be in a happy relationship that you yearn for. But if you keep trying to take food off someone else's plate, you're letting the food on your plate get cold. You gotta start seeing yourself the way that God sees you.
The thing I think you need to understand is that these people that you're comparing yourself to, you don't really know very well. What that means is that you see their shiny outside, but you don't see the reality of their life. The ideal that you're observing that makes you jealous and resentful is in large part an illusion that's created by your own mind. You're quite different from other people, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself to them because they're not like you. You know, they don't have your family. They don't have your temperament. They don't have your troubles. They don't have your abilities. The only person that has those is you.
Don't compare your chapter 1 to my chapter 10. Because your chapter 1 is when you're laying foundations, you're putting the cement on the bricks and you're laying them. You walked in on my chapter 10. My chapter 10 is me when I'm him. I've got here now. Of course, I may have other goals that I have to achieve, but you're now basing a judgment, not seeing my backstory, not seeing where I came from, not seeing my down days. You've come when everything's sunshine and rainbows. You can't now come here, bro, and say, why are you flaunting?
Everybody is in different chapters of their life. So you're maybe comparing yourself to somebody's chapter, 20 when you're just starting out.
You can't compare your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel.
Yeah.
We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't know that person's deepest fears and their regrets and God knows what else. You don't know all that stuff.
Life is not fair. If only I had the things that they had. If only I had the job, the car, the house, the physique, the life. If only I lived this life. If only you would stop comparing yourself to everybody else. The grass is greener where you water it, all right? So stop peeking over the fence over to your neighbors, all right? Stop obsessing over everybody's life and start obsessing over you and your goals, all right? God has a plan for you, all right? So fulfill it, do the work, and enjoy where you're at. Let's go!
My grandmother used to always say, never wish for what somebody else got, because you don't know what they did to get it and you don't know what they're doing to keep it. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing and stay focused on what it is that you feel God has called you to do specifically. That's your greatness. That's where your power is.
I just want to say, do not compare yourself to anyone. That is the quickest way to fall into the trap that enemy is set before you. The enemy wants you to think and believe that you're unworthy, that you can't attain these things, that you're looking to someone else. And say, for instance, that's not even what God has for you. God has way more for you, but you're so focused on what your neighbor has that you can't even see what God has in store for you. That's why it's so important to look at people. You can congratulate people, but don't stay so focused on what you're congratulating them for, to know that what is for you is always going to be for you. But as long as you stay distracted, because all it is a distraction, and it makes you feel less than, it makes you feel inferior to the other person, but to know that God has something better for you, if not more. You just got to believe that.
One of the biggest things I've learned this year is not to compare yourself with anyone in any way. Achievements, progress, success, growth. It's always tempting to look at someone else's life and feel like you're behind. When you see someone else doing well, don't assume their path was easy or that they haven't had their own struggles. It's easy to forget that everyone else's battles are hidden, and what you might envy may be someone else's biggest burden. You see, when you measure yourself against others, you lose sight of your own growth and all that progress that you've made and from where you started. And the only journey that truly matters is yours. So always remember, measure your progress by how far you have come, not by how far others are from you.
I don't know who this message is for, but I'm about to give you the cheat code on how to experience elevation and how to obtain the favor of God on your life. You know what's one major key? To run your race and to stay in your lane. I think it's so disheartening to see that our culture that the enemy has deceived so many of us to focus on what somebody else has going on, to compare the giftings and the talents that God has given you with what God has given somebody else. You have your eyes on somebody else's plate that you've forgotten to see what God has placed before you. And the reason why the enemy has us so focused on comparison is because that's the thief of joy. That is what will always keep you from being fulfilled. That is what will always keep you from experiencing and unlocking the favor of God that only comes when you accept and embrace the individual that God made you to be. There's certain favor that you will only experience when you run your lane. Whenever you run in your lane and you tell God, you know what, God, I want everything that you want for me. Why? Because you can't ever miss out on what's for you. And God can't ever bless who you pretend to be. He can only bless who you are.
What's up, y'all? I just wanted to come through with a quick message. Comparison is the thief of joy. Y'all, say it with me. Comparison is the thief of joy. The Bible tells us not to covet. That means not to desire someone else. A home, relationship, financial situation, what they have. Competing, comparing, complaining is only going to steal your joy. It's only going to make you sad and not happy in your situation that you're in, because you're comparing it to somebody else and what they have going on. So I just wanted to put that out there. Comparison is the thief of joy. Some of y'all have to put your phones down. Stop watching other people so hard, because you should only be competing with that person in the mirror where you were last year, 5 years ago. Are you in the same spot? Stop comparing your lives to other people, because you're never going to think like another person, and that's going to leave you sad. You're not going to have joy comparing situations, comparing financial statuses, comparing relationships, comparing children. Y'all not going to be happy ever. Stop it.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Galatians 6 verse 4 says, pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else. When you start to focus on what other people are doing, where other people are in life, it will take away the satisfaction of where you are in your life. There's always going to be someone doing better. The Lord wants you to be more grateful and content with where you are and what He's already blessed you with. The Bible talks a lot about contentment and how we should always be content wherever God has us. A lot of the times we get what we've been praying for, and then we're already seeking the next best thing instead of just being grateful and being content with what we've already been given. You have to remember that you are right now where you once were praying to be. We should never desire or envy someone else for what they have or what God has blessed them with. Understand that there is times and seasons for everything. So if you're in a season where you're not necessarily seeing the fruit yet, or you're not seeing the harvest or the blessings that you have been waiting for or praying for, do not get discouraged. Do not start doubting in what God has planned for you, because the Lord has plans to prosper us, like Jeremiah 29:11 says. God wants to prosper you. God wants to give you a hope and a future. God cannot bring you something until He sees that you're content with what you already have. God is not going to bless you with more until He sees that you're appreciative of what He's already given you. God can't bring your kingdom spouse, your kingdom husband, your kingdom wife into your life until He sees that you're content with being in your single season with just you and God. God can't bring you that promotion or that new opportunity until He sees you doing well with what He's already given you. God needs you to be more humble. God wants you to be more grateful for what you have right now. Even if where you are right now isn't much, even if what you have right now doesn't seem like a lot compared to other.
I don't know who need to hear this, but you got to stop comparing yourself to other people and other people's situations. Their situation don't got nothing to do with your situation. Just because they lifting more weights than you in the gym, now you starting to feel insecure, and you starting to feel like that you ain't making no progress or you ain't doing enough. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Just because you see this person on social media with 5-6 cars in their garage, you think that you're not doing enough. You think that you don't got nothing going on. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. You sitting there looking at other people trying to match what they got going on. Their situation don't got nothing to do with your situation. What they got going on don't got nothing to do with what you got going on. So what you got to do is
You got to work on yourself. You got to work hard. You got to stay consistent.
Because I feel like in life, comparing yourself to like what someone else has or a relationship they have, how much money they have, you're always going to be miserable. I'm always a proponent of like, again, pouring into yourself, like whether it's academics or a job or your friends, whatever, and you will meet so many people just doing that. I think you'll just start to develop so much self-confidence and really just feel content with your own life that you won't feel such a lack.
How do you deal with the comparison game?
Incredibly easy. Not one person's life has anything to do with mine. Comparing yourself is just insecurity.
Right. I'm in a very good spot with my career, but I'm surrounded by a bunch of guys that are crushing it, which is good for me, but I'm just like looking up like I could be there.
Be happy for them.
I am.
Good. Be happy for yourself on the journey of trying to get there, and you might not be good enough to get there, and that's okay too. You might be a better dad. You might be a better basketball player. You're clearly better looking than some of those dudes.
Appreciate it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's only one of the things.
All facets of life.
Yeah, if one of your buddies who makes $2 million a year is making fun of you, tell them you're better looking than they are.
Yeah, love it. Appreciate you, bro.
Do not compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of all joy. Comparison is the thief of all visions. If your journey was supposed to be just like theirs, that wouldn't make it your story. People that went through the specific trials and tribulations that you went through, they're going to need your example. Do not compare your journey to anybody else's.
Let me tell y'all something. Comparison steals your joy, and jealousy poisons your happiness. Please don't be that person that's in a secret race with somebody else that they don't even know you're in. Comparison literally is you constantly measuring your success and achievements to somebody else while ignoring your own path and success and passions. We gotta break free from always comparing ourselves to others and other people's paths. Everybody's path is unique. Success is not a limited source. There's literally sources out here for everybody. It's unlimited. It's for everybody. Success is infinite. Your worth isn't determined by how you're doing better than the other person. Your worth is determined by how you value yourself. And that is what steals your joy. And it stops you from focusing on your own path and embracing your own success. So stop that nonsense and start collaborating and stop comparing.
Do not get caught up in comparisons. Everybody got their own race. You're going to get it at your own pace and your own time. Everything come when it needs to, in a sense. You can't rush greatness, in a sense. Like, whatever your destiny is, that's what's for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't rush it. You know what I'm saying? Probably 2-3 years from now, you never thought you'd be sitting here. None of us probably would. I know damn well I didn't think I was gonna be here 2-3 years ago, you know what I'm saying? But you don't never know where staying down might take you, so do not compare yourself. That too.
And no cap, bro, like you said, bro, I promise, bro, everything will come when it's time. But when you get on social media, bro, social media highlight reel, you feel me? You gonna see the next man. Trust me, bro, it's always somebody doing better than you, doing more than you, feel me? Throwing harder than you, shooting better than you. It's always somebody doing better, but also know it's somebody doing worse than you too, you feel me? But that person not on Instagram. And if he is, you not seeing him on Instagram, you feel me? Be grateful, be appreciative of what you got. Because some people don't got what you got, you feel me? But woke up, nigga. real spiel, bro. Like, folks is so disconnected from life now, I feel like, bro, you got a lot to be grateful about, you feel me? Like, wake up and say 3 things you're grateful for. I promise you can't go through the day mad, you feel me? But you wake up, your first thing you do, get on Instagram before you brush your teeth.
Be comparing yourself to people on the internet, and y'all literally get tricked out your spot every single time. Y'all be trying to keep up with people on the internet, keep up with what people doing, keeping up with what people have, and y'all get tricked out your spot every time.
Reasons you shouldn't feel behind in life, part 2. I already told y'all how I didn't hold a boy's hand until I was 23 years old. Didn't have my first kiss, first boyfriend, nothing until I was 23 years old. I also didn't go to college because I was chronically ill. I just felt like I had nothing going for me in life. I felt like I was behind all of my friends and all of the people I saw on social media. Half of it was feeling lonely, but really the majority of it was feeling embarrassed in comparison to where they were at in life and feeling like I was failing. My goal as a creator is to normalize when you don't have it all together and to encourage you and let you know that it's okay and there's no arrival point. I used to think that when I finally got married, then I would feel like I arrived and like, okay, I was going places in life. I'm married now, and there's still a million things now that I can compare myself to my friends or other people I see online and be like, well, we don't have kids yet. We can't afford a house yet. Where I find my peace and my joy at the end of the day is in God and in trusting ultimately that everything is going to be okay no matter what because of God.
One of the best things I've done in the last few years, and it was going through all that anxiety stuff and all that counseling, but I didn't realize it about myself, but I was like pouring gas on this fire of insecurity because I was always looking around, mostly on social media, and that's what it looks like to be a successful pastor.
Right.
And that's what it looks like to have influence.
Yep.
And that's what it looks like to have a good family. And I don't vacation like that, and I don't dress like that, and I don't get invited to that, and I don't.
Yep.
And I was just constantly reminding myself of all the things that I don't have, that I thought for some weird reason I needed to have. The answer was, I'm going to actually thank God for how he made me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to be anybody else. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be thankful for the way he made me. I'm going to say, hey, just like, you have me right here for a reason.
Yeah.
You've created me like this for a reason.
Yep.
So how can I make this the best day possible? And just being me. And there is a lot of freedom in.
I'm sure we can all put our hands up. At one stage of our life, we have compared to someone else. Whether this is through your career, your looks, what their life looks like. You can't actually just look at the social media reels and the highlight reels and just expect that that's their life. So many people just put the good times up. Overcoming comparison is actually focusing on what genuinely makes you happy, what makes you feel most successful, and just going after that guns blazing. Then you'll be too busy focusing on your own life, not anyone else's. There's enough room in this world to have other people succeed, and it doesn't mean that you have to compare or you have to be jealous or whatever it may be. We should be building each other up, not tearing each other down. So next time you feel that these feelings could be coming up, look where you can actually take inspiration from that person, where you can focus on your goals a little bit more, and then do something that is going to benefit you and make you feel good.
This is to myself, but I feel like someone else needs to hear this. Stop comparing your content to other people's content. You are you and they are them. That's it. They're doing a good job, and so are you. Everybody's doing a good job in their own respect. There's no need for comparison.
Someone is always going to have what you want, and someone is always going to want what you have. The point is, as human beings, we are never just grateful for what we have without looking at other people and saying, but I want this and I want that. But then on the flip side, there's people that are also looking at you like, oh my God, why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? But in your head, you're thinking, no, but I'm never in life. No one would ever look at me like that. You have the opportunity to see this video. There are people on the other side of the world who don't even have the opportunity to see any videos. They want the life you have. They want an opportunity to be able to see videos or have access to a phone. You're spending 10 minutes to an hour scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, just any social media platform, looking at people like, why don't I look like that? Why don't I have this much money? Why don't I get this much opportunity? But do you ever just stop and think, you know what, I'm grateful for where I am, because there's people who want to be in my position and they are not. So I am blessed where I am at right this moment.
Hey, yo, check this out. Did you know the Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, that a man who compares himself with someone else is ignorant and lacks understanding? You may have heard that comparison is the thief of joy. Instead of looking at Instagram, instead of looking at who has what and why they're blessed and why you don't look like that or how you don't have this, why don't you look to God instead for the source of your strength, the source of your purpose, the source of your mission, and the source of your identity? Basically, what the Bible is saying is when you compare yourself with somebody else, you lack an understanding of who God has called and created you to be. Instead of looking and comparing yourself to the world and to everybody else, instead look to God and find the completion of who you are and who He's called you to be in Him and in Him alone.
If we all sat in a room and shared our deepest, darkest fears about life, you'd be amazed at how similar we are. And so today, I just am asking you to stop believing the lie that you're the only one, and stop comparing yourself to people on this platform and making up stories about how their life is so much better than yours. We all have something. And And so I hope that that gives you more grace towards other people and towards yourself.
No such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing as a life that's better than yours.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.